crap out of him, and I wanted to kill him, and that's not good because that's not in my nature. But like that's what was just all I could see was red, and I was pounding his head on the pavement, and I'm shaking just talking about how angry I was because I don't let my emotions get a hold of me quite like that ever. And for a good non-violent person to be pushed to that limit every day of their life is not good, and it happens to people all the time. It does. It happens to kids all the time, not only if you're gay. I think gay kids get special treatment in it, but definitely other kids have these issues too. So you need to lock on and find those other kids that are different and make friends with them. I mean, Dolly Parton always says, if you see someone without a smile, give them yours. And I think that's such an amazing thing. I wish I had heard that as a kid. Because it's inspired me as an adult to always to look at people and know that if they're not smiling, they have something wrong in their life, and maybe you can give them a bit of yourself to help them become inspired. And Dolly Parton does a great job of that anyway. She's just an amazing person. She got, and I think the reason I'm referencing her is her music got me through my junior high school years. Like, I'll never forget laying in bed at night and listening to her song, I Will Always Love You, and just playing it over and over, and knowing that I kind of took it, for me, it was her saying, I love you, to me. And I needed someone to love me for me. I will always love you. Though we've had good times, though we've had bad times, I will always love you. And she did that for me. So find something like that to get you through it too. There, with the internet and with musicians that are out there like Lady Gaga these days, and Neil Patrick Harris, and I mean, just there's so many wonderful gay role models to look up to and to aspire to be like, or to at least get you through the situation. Moving on to high school. I hated school so much I begged my parents to do homeschooling for my freshman year of high school. And they let me, and I ended up doing homeschooling for a year. And I traveled. I was very involved in the entertainment world. I did a lot of commercial and fashion work, and that was one of the best years of my life. I didn't study a whole lot. I was ahead of everyone in school because I liked learning, and so I went around and I traveled, and I did a lot of fashion shows and movie shoots and things, and it was so much fun because I was around other people who were creative and different and accepting of those people that weren't normal, quote unquote, the what society was trying to make me into. So I did that for a year, and I think that if I had gone straight into high school, I might have been a little more to the suicidal end, instead of, because I had a break in between all the ridicule. I ended up going back to school my sophomore year of high school at a very tiny school. There was only 10 or 15 people in my class in my sophomore year, and so every teacher knows all your business and everything, and it was the ridicule there again was horrible, but it started getting a little different in high school. It got violent, but at the same time the mental was really bad too. People were starting to look at you in a different way. They were they would whisper behind your back. I mean, they just made it difficult to exist. And I will say that the best thing about going through all of that is, as an adult, you're gonna be in the workplace, and there's gonna be politics and drama, and you're gonna having been through what you've been through, it really does get me through it, because I've already heard it all. I've been through it all. And no one can hurt me as bad as some of those kids did in school. And know that you should never have to deal with physical abuse. Never. No one should ever be hit in their life by anyone. And so that I'm not saying you should endure, but the things that you do endure, like the teasing and people talking about you and all the gossip and all that, it will prepare you for your future, and you are going to be a better person for living through it, and you're going to be a better person for your future, because you're going to have lived through 10 times worse of what anything people can do in the office to you. So I ended up graduating my junior year of high school and went to Sonora, Texas, which is near San Angelo. And I graduated at 17. I graduated technically a year early, but I was only in high school for 2 years. So that's whenever the ball started rolling downhill, so to speak. I graduated in May, and my parents were living separately at the time for business. And my dad came up for my mom and dad's 20th anniversary to San Angelo, and brought my sister. And we all went out to San Angelo to go eat dinner. And on the way home, it's an hour drive back to Sonora. On the way home, Mom and Dad and I, specifically Mom and I, got into an argument about stuff. And her quote to me and how this all happened, it was heated. It had been going on, and I don't recommend ever coming out during an argument or on an anniversary for that matter. But I feel bad about that, I do. But it was the way it played out. And so the first thing I said to my mom was, I was so angry. I just said, I just want this to stop. I don't want to have this argument anymore. And we had already in the past had arguments about, she was starting to pick up that I was gay, and she slapped me across the face one time. And I'm not quite sure why, but definitely whenever I asked her why, she was like, it was directed in a homosexual way. So someone I looked at wrong. I mean, it was bad. So then the next part of that whole coming out story is that she was mad about some issue, and we were arguing, and she said to me, "You don't know the things that I've been through in my life. You don't know what I've had to deal with." And I looked at her and I said, "You don't know what I've had to deal with in my life, and I'm your son. You've known me my whole life. I've only known what you've been through in the past 17 years of my life at that time." And she just looked at me and she goes, "Well, what? What have you been through? Are you gay?" And starts flipping her wrist at me. I'm like, and the tears. I said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I am." And it was said just matter-of-factly, and it came out, and I started sobbing. It was such a release to say it for the first time ever, to say it. And I started crying, and I was shaking, and my dad was sitting on the couch, and he started